this one to YouTube, and now I have changed my little calendar from March to April, and here is the April news update. Right now. Okay then, so the landmark for the month of April is the Taj Mahal from Uttar Pradesh. Also, here is the April newscast. Flooding is in Colombia. More than 200 people killed and 100 more injured. And those numbers will increase as they search for more survivors, and more than 100 people are missing. And manatees are no longer endangered. In 1970, there were only 800 manatees. This year, for the third year in a row, there were more than 6,000 manatees. Now they're only spotted. And an explosion happened in St. Petersburg, Russia. And officials call it a terrorist attack. And 13 people died, 50 were injured. Russian police have arrested 8 people. No group has claimed responsibility for the attack, and trains shut down. Spring is the biggest time to buy homes in the U.S. Millennials are the largest group of home buyers. The chemical weapon attack happened in Syria. It involved poisonous gas. At least 85 people died, including 20 children. And there's a filibuster against Neil Gorsuch that happened. It's the first time that a filibuster was used on a Supreme Court nominee. It was to end the debate. The Republicans needed 60 votes. And they only had 48 Democrats, and there are 52 Republicans in the Senate. And 3 Democrats and all the Republicans voted against the filibuster. So they did a nuclear option, which caused 51 votes to be needed. And the Cassini has been in space for 20 years, and as its mission ends in September, it will perform 22 dives between Saturn and Sphinx, 70,000 miles per hour for a gap that is 1,200 miles wide. And Cassini will be closer to Saturn than ever before. In fact, Cassini will crash into Saturn. And most tornadoes happen from April to June. 9 twisters might have happened in the Midwest to Southeast this week. In Georgia, there's a tornado of up to 1.5 miles wide was seen, and several hundred flights were cancelled. And quarter-sized hail in Alabama and Kentucky, and flooding in South Carolina. And for the Commissioner of Food and Drugs, Scott Gottlieb, he was announced on March the 10th, and on April the 15th he had a hearing. And the Deputy Attorney General, Rod Rosenstein, he was announced on January 13th, and on March the 7th he had his hearing. And on April 3rd he had his committee vote. 19 voted say yes, and 1 said no. And the Secretary of Air Force, Heather Wilson, he was first announced on January 23rd, then on March the 30th he had his hearing, and then on April the 15th he had a committee vote, 22-5. And the Deputy Secretary of Homeland Security, Elaine Duke, on January 30th he was announced, and then on March 9th he had his first hearing. March 15th he had a committee vote, and then on April the 14th he was voted in. E5/14. Trump now has met with Mike Tempo of Brazil and Michelle Bachelet of Chile, and also a President Haider al-Abadi. And Tillerson has met with the Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yin in Beijing to discuss the North Korean missile program. And the German Defense Minister Ursula von der Leyen has denied the assertions by Trump that NATO has that Germany owes a financial debt to NATO. And Trump meets Bill Gates. Trump holds a rally in Louisville, Kentucky. Trump now nominates Roger Stahl to the 6th Court of Appeals. Trump signs a budget and in NASA. It includes a crew mission to Mars in 2033 and expands support for public partnerships and also deep space habitation and revives the Sonic Flight search program, science and robot exploration, cancels the Europa lander, and also an asteroid redirect mission, and terminates 4 Earth missions, eliminates the NASA Office of Education and a budget decrease. And Tillerson met with some classified intelligence as well as was Trump felt vindicated when Devin Nunes found out that he was being Trump got wiretapped. Check. Also, a 39-year-old woman was arrested, and 2 other women were arrested, and 4 men were also arrested, and they between the ages of 21 to 28. And all these people were arrested today, and they are not afraid. Trump team also picked up some incidental communications, and Devin Nunes has apologized for telling the Democratic Committee about the information that he found out. And the government committee headquarters denies involvement in wiretapping of Trump headquarters. And Rex Tillerson visits South Korea to discuss international threats and indicates the possibility against North Korea, and meets Xi Jinping of China. As well, Mike Pence met with the Costa Rican president, Luis Gilmore Source. District Judge Jay Hale permits to proceed a law in which Trump incites violence at a presidential campaign rally way back in 2016. And Trump has proclaimed April as the month of cancer control and child abuse and prevention and sexual assault awareness and financial capability in donor life. And April 12th is now Autism Awareness Day, Trump proclaimed, and Pence delivered a speech in Wennesburg, Ohio, on Neil Gorsuch in replacing the Affordable Bouquet Act. And Jared Kushner has traveled to Iran with Joseph Dunford, and Trump met with Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and King Abdullah II. And Trump has signed a resolution that allows the Internet Service to collect and sell their customers on usage history as greater release. Trump has now signed a memorandum to reform the military selective process, and Trump has proclaimed the start of the Crime Victim Rights Week, as well as Trump donates $78,333.32 to the National Park Service, and Trump delivers a speech to a North American Building Trade Union on the construction of the Keystone Pipeline. Also, now the Boss Baby has now $100 million in movie news. And in March, there were 263,000 new jobs. And there's 2 to 3% wage growth and 4.7% unemployment rate. And Devin Nunes has recused himself from the investigation into Russia in the 2016 election and is replaced by Mike Conway. And Trump has ordered a strike at Shaiwat Air Base with Tomahawk missiles, 59 of them, and has killed 56 people and destroyed the air base. And Trump suggests that Susan Rice may have committed a crime, with Reed Kodesh chairs a meeting at the White House for business critic. Okay, then soon will be part 2.